Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you, and this one's going to be a restaurant review. As you guys can see, we got the Jack in the Box behind me, and I'm going to head across the street, give you guys a restaurant review at the Jack in the Box. Just kidding, man. You know, I would never eat at Jack in the Box, although I did recently go into Jack in the Box to use the bathroom, and I learned that on their menu, one single meal that's been supersized is like 1,800 calories. That's quite a lot of calories. And what we're gonna do today is give you guys a raw food restaurant review. I'm here in Honolulu, Hawaii, at a raw foods restaurant in Hawaii. Now, this is not the first raw food restaurant I've been to. I've been to a raw food restaurant many years ago, and it closed down, but now this is probably the only restaurant on Oahu that I'm aware of. So we're gonna spin the camera around, and actually it's right across the street from Jack in the Box, so I think that's really cool. And we'll show you guys what it looks like, and we'll share some more information about it with you. So where we're gonna eat tonight is actually a place called Greens and Vines Raw Vegan Gourmet. At least I'm happy they have the gourmet in the title to let you guys know what you're in for. You know, I've been eating a raw food diet for the last 19 years, and this review is, in my opinion, based on my experience as a 19-year raw vegan, eating the plant-based raw vegan diet the healthiest way that I've learned how after all these years. So what I've already done is actually gone into Greens and Vines, and you can sit down and eat there. And I chose not to sit down and eat there because I noticed a few things. Number one, their menu, they had like one page of raw vegan options, including appetizers and entrees and desserts. But then they had like 2 full pages of like wines. So the Greens is like the raw foods, and the Vines is like the wine grapes or the vines. So you could have raw food and wine. So this is definitely catering to the upscale, like maybe tourist clientele that's vegan. And I think that's great that they're here serving that community of people that would normally eat, you know, across the street, maybe at Jack in the Box. But that being said, the prices are a little bit expensive for smaller portion sizes. So instead, what I've opted to do tonight is actually I went inside and bought some options from their to-go case. Now, besides having a to-go case here, they sell at many of the different farmers markets on the island, and in addition, they have a to-go service. Well, they will pre-prepare food for you, you know, for the week, where you can just buy it and pick it up and have their gourmet raw foods for a couple days. So what I'm gonna do next, actually, I'm gonna go back to my place, and we're gonna open up and share with you what I got, and I'll share with you guys my opinion of the food at Greens and Vines. So I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, John, this is a restaurant review, man. What you doing outside Costco? So I got the food inside the Greens and Vines, and it's like, I think that place should be called, like, more appropriately, like Nuts and Vines, because like there's no greens to be found, you know, in the raw foods diet style that I do and I preach, and what I have found to be very necessary in a raw foods diet for a long-term success, mind you, and I've been doing this now for the last 19 years, greens are a very essential part of a raw foods diet. And my goal every day is to eat 2 pounds of leafy greens, and in the to-go food from Greens and Vines, and even if you sat down in there and ate, you know, there's just a scant of greens. It's mostly nuts and whatnot that you're going to be getting. So I'm here at Costco because it's probably the best place on the island to load up on some greens. Just got out of Costco, got over 2.5 pounds of greens, including 1.5 pounds of baby kales, and over 1 pound of the hydroponic lettuces. So this will definitely be a nice addition to my Greens and Vines. Next, let's go ahead and sit down and chow on some greens and some to-go food from Greens and Vines. Now I'm gonna share with you guys what I got at Greens and Vines. It was a total of like $28.78 for only 3 raw food items. This is actually very expensive for you and also for me. So I rarely ever do this because I'm pretty dang cheap. Normally for dinner I would eat some, like, you know, some romaine lettuce, some sea asparagus, and maybe like an avocado and some natto. But tonight I splurged out, one of my last days here in Hawaii, and I wanted to try the food and be able to share with you guys my experience at the Greens and Vines. So what we got tonight was the Not-Tuna salad right here. Check out the little price on there if you guys could see that. It's $10.25 for approximately 7 ounces of food, man. It's quite expensive. Basically, it's supposed to taste like tuna salad, so a good thing. I got some of those leafy greens to dip in there and dilute this basically nut and seed. It's primarily sunflower seeds and macadamia nuts. Oh, and the third ingredient is medjool dates, so that's pretty good. It's gonna be nice and sweet. Dilute this stuff down with some fresh greens. Next, for fun, we got a pumpkin seed bread that kind of looks like a patty. Personally, just this little thing here was 4 7/8 ounces, and that was $5. Finally, for the creme de la creme, I usually like to get a pizza, but they didn't actually have pizza, and they said the lasagna was their signature dish, but I don't particularly care for raw lasagnas. So I got the garden burger. It actually got a good review in the newspaper article I read. And it's Sil's garden burger with organic sunflower seeds, organic flax seeds, celery, carrots, red onions, zucchini, green onions, lemon juice, parsley, EVOO, chickpea miso, garlic, thyme. And then it has an onion flatbread. So this little thing here in this little container, I mean, you'd get a little burger at, like, you know, Burger King or McDonald's this size for, like, I don't know, a couple bucks. This thing here was $11.75. That's a whole little bit of food for a lot of money. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and try these guys and let you guys know what I think. So first, let's go for the Sil's garden burger. Open this guy up. Let's check it out. On the inside, you get a little bit of date mustard in a little container here. You get a little bit of cashew mayonnaise here in another little container. And now, while this was to go, they did never ask me if I needed any kind of plasticware. So actually, I'm eating the raw caveman style way with no utensils. It's gonna be fun. And check it out at Greens and Vines. This is how many greens you get. Like a little saran wrapped, like miniature heart of lettuce. I'm sorry, but if you think you could get away with leading a healthy raw foods diet with this much lettuce, you are mistaken. Like, gravely mistaken, in my opinion. Finally, we got one little tomato here. And it looks like we have actually a nice nut burger that's actually somewhat dehydrated, not all the way. And then actually, check it out, individually wrapped onion bread. Upon opening this onion bread, it's actually 2 thin sheets of onion bread. And I must say, it actually smells like onions. It smells kind of good, actually. So here's 2 little flat sheets of the onion bread. I guess that's supposed to make up my, my bread here. We're gonna take one, put our patty on it. If I had a knife, I'd cut up the tomato and put it on there, but I do not. But we will unwrap our little token lettuce here and put that on the burger. Now, one of the things I noticed when walking up to the restaurant, you could actually look into the kitchen, and I saw some of the ingredients that they were using in some of the recipes. And some of the ingredients I saw was coconut oil, olive oil, sesame oil, let's see, tamari, and apple cider vinegar. The majority of the stuff was not organic, so, you know, it's highly probable that the food here is not organic, and I think that is probably not so optimal, especially when paying top dollar. I believe you know, people in raw food should use organic whenever possible. And I know it can get expensive, but when you're spending your money, you're voting with your dollars, and when you're voting for just standard conventional produce or products, then you're voting for our Mother Earth being sprayed with toxins and pesticides and ruining the soil for future generations. All right, so let's go ahead and put on some of this lettuce onto our burger. Oh look, just one little piece, cover the whole thing up. Maybe we'll just use one more. And maybe we'll eat the rest. I'm kind of hungry. At least it's good lettuce. I think it's locally grown too. All right, now we're gonna open the date mustard here, and it's made with brown mustard seeds, medjool dates, lemon juice, wheat-free, tamari, cashews, extra virgin olive oil, flaxseed oil, onion powder, sea salt, garlic, and white pepper. I always like to smell my food before eating it. Wow, it smells kind of mustardy. And I think I'll take a piece of lettuce leaf and use this kind of as a knife or as a spreader. Nice globber on there. We're gonna go ahead and spread this all on the burger. All right, now that we got that all spread out, let's go ahead and check out what we got here. This is the cashew mayonnaise. All right, mayonnaise, cashews, EVOO, highest lignan flaxseed oil. That makes it healthy, right? Lemon juice, medjool dates, onion powder, real salt, garlic powder, and white pepper, it looks like. Basically, these things right here, these little things here, are mostly like fat and salt. And that's why it tastes good. So for many people, probably for me too. But after you eat this, like high fat stuff, probably not gonna feel good. And I wanna encourage you guys, not only should you judge a food on how it tastes to you when you're eating it, but also judge the food on how it makes you feel the next day. I'm highly confident that for many people eating at Greens and Vines, if they're used to eating a conventional diet, you know, Ruth Chris Steakhouse or Olive Garden or any other place, you're gonna feel great after eating at Greens and Vines, because guess why? You know, your normal diets here, Greens and Vines is far exceeds that, you know, the health benefits and the quality is far exceeding what you're normally eating. But for me, I'm normally eating like up here off the screen, you know, stuff grown in my front yard, you know, low fat, you know, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables as the mainstay of my diet, and not a whole lot of nuts and seeds. So actually Greens and Vines will bring me down. So we might give you an update after I eat this stuff and how I feel tomorrow getting out of bed, because that's when I'll learn how this food was for reals. So we got some of the mayonnaise here on this leaf, and we're just gonna go ahead and spread this on top of the mustard. All right, got that spread out. We're gonna put that on there, and let's see here. I don't have a knife to cut the tomato, so don't watch this. So I was able to get the tomato onto the burger, and here's what it looks like now. We got the little bun, which is more like a moist cracker. We got the burger, we got the two sauces, the lettuce, and some tomatoes. Finally, we're gonna put the other bun on the top. And this is what you call a raw foods burger. So let's go ahead and try it. Wow. So two things come to mind when I eat this. First thing I thought was really dry. It's a really dehydrated burger, and in my opinion, we are 70 to 75% water, and we need to be eating water-rich foods, not dehydrated foods that dehydrate us. I better drink extra water after my meal to stay hydrated, because anything that you're eating that has less water content than you is dehydrating you and can cause some health challenges. Second thing I thought about this burger was oil. I felt the coating of the oil, and actually I feel it even on my hands just touching the bun and the burger. A lot of oil in there, so if it has a lot of oil, it means a lot of fat, and excessive amounts of fats through the oil, especially because oil is 100% fat, definitely make you slow and sluggish and not perform at your peak abilities. As for the taste is so-so. I mean, it doesn't taste bad, it's not super great, but it's acceptable. You know, I wish it was a lot healthier, maybe more water rich, had a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables, because that to me is the mainstay of a raw vegan diet. So I'm continuing to eat this burger, and I want to share a tip with you guys on what I'm doing next, actually. What I'm doing next is I'm gonna actually be eating some of my greens with my burger. So this is a very simple and easy technique you can use to dilute cooked foods or heavy dense raw foods to get more fresh foods into your diet, because to me fresh foods is what the raw foods diet is all about. So what I'm doing here is we're gonna go ahead and take out a head of lettuce, some nice hydroponic lettuce right there. And the goal is to basically have one bite of lettuce, chew it up really good, then go for one bite of burger, One bite of lettuce, one bite of burger. Now you've just diluted the burger with a really good water-rich food. Another great food besides like some lettuce to do this with is cucumbers. So now I'm gonna start eating lettuce and my burger. Lettuce, burger. Maybe I'll do lettuce, lettuce, burger. Lettuce, lettuce, burger. Then I'm getting way more lettuce than burger to dilute this even further. So I just got finished with that nut burger and almost my whole head of lettuce. And a few things happened. Number one, kind of got a mild headache, which is quite odd for me because I rarely get headaches when I eat, you know, my style of clean raw foods. Number two, I feel pretty dense and weighed down. I mean, I know it. Jack in the Box, you know, one meal could be 1,800 calories. You know, they should put the calories on each raw food item you buy so that you'll know. I mean, was this nut burger with oil and all this kind of stuff like 800 calories alone, or was it 1,000 calories? I don't know, because they're not labeling it. I think they should definitely label it to let people know, because, you know, even if it's raw nuts and raw fats, calories are still calories. And in my opinion, we do need to watch the calories we're consuming if you want to have optimal health and the highest potential for longevity. Oh, the other thing I've noticed, got lots of mucus. I'm almost gonna choke on it in the back of my throat. Something I don't normally get unless I eat something like this. And not even all raw food restaurants will give me mucus that is this bad. I guess the next thing we're gonna try is the Not-Tuna salad. Overall, while the burger tasted good, I don't think it sat too well with me. Let's go ahead and try this Not-Tuna salad. This one was $10.25. And good thing I got some romaine to dip in there. It smells pretty good. It smells kind of like a raw tuna salad. Once again, this is a nut-based tuna salad. Get a nice globber there on my leaf. I mean, tastes all right. I've definitely had better tuna salads. The tuna salad at this raw food place in Chicago kind of like comes to mind. I mean, that one was a really good tuna salad. This one, just mediocre. All right, so I'm continuing to eat this tuna salad. Almost finished my second head of leafy greens. Just taking off the leaf and dipping it a little bit in here. Now I'm not even halfway through with this, and actually I'm getting quite full. All these nut pâtés and the burger, which is fairly dense with the oil, it's kind of weighing me down a lot. I mean, I could normally eat like 3 of these small heads of lettuce for dinner, but with all this nut sauce, it's like really making me full really fast, and also upping my caloric content of my foods. In addition, I feel myself just kind of slowing down and getting a little bit slower than I normally am. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I believe I have so much energy normally, is because I don't eat really heavy foods. I eat light foods, the fresh fruits and vegetables, which is what I believe we should be concentrating on a plant-based raw foods diet. Not necessarily all these nuts and seeds and oils. Actually, I rarely ever eat oils, and I try to eat like a handful of nuts a day. Maybe 2 if I'm being really lenient sometimes. But lately here in Hawaii, since nuts are quite expensive actually, I've been eating an avocado a day, and some days I've actually had no avocado. So going minimal fat. And I just feel better in the tropics actually eating lower fat without eating all this heavy stuff. Oh, actually I'm starting to feel some congestion and mucus in my nose and in my throat now. Definitely not a good sign. Wow. I think I gotta stop eating this Not-Tuna salad stuff. I'm taking it home maybe for tomorrow. And what we're gonna try now is actually the pumpkin seed bread. Looks kind of like more like a patty. And here's the bread here. I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be, but it's actually really like a bread. Definitely needs something on it. Really dry. Not too much flavor. Once again, this is all nut and seed based patty instead of being like a vegetable based patty with some nuts and seeds. I personally don't care for it actually all too much. All right, so we've come to the end of the video. Whoa, having a little bit of a hard time breathing actually, not so good. Mucus and congested. I definitely did not start out this video feeling this way. And I want to remind you guys that food affects your mood and how you are, right? I mean, we all know this. You can eat foods that kind of just dull you down and make you want to go to sleep, like I feel like right now after eating this heavy meal. Now, once again, I want to remind you guys that I've been doing a raw foods diet for the last 19 years. I'm constantly trying to improve what I'm doing to the point now where I grow the majority of my vegetables in my front yard. I pick it and eat them, and I grow the highest quality stuff. I eat fruits as the main source of my calories, and I eat very little fats, including nuts and seeds, avocados and coconuts, and rarely, if ever, do I eat oils unless I go out to a raw food restaurant like tonight for some fun party foods. Now, while I think gourmet raw foods do have their place, I think that eating them on a day-to-day basis is definitely not a good idea. Even teachers that teach about creating gourmet raw foods say they're a party food and hey, I'm on vacation. That being said, I believe all raw food restaurants, regardless of a gourmet or not, should always have healthier options, because this is what's going to happen, frankly. Most people, like I said earlier, are like at this level. They're eating the standard American diet, and if they're eating McDonald's, maybe they're even down here. And even if they're here eating a standard diet, if they eat at a raw food, high-fat restaurant, it's an improvement for them for a while until their body catches up, because now this has much more nutrition in it, and also actually fairly higher fat, maybe even potentially higher fat percentage than standard American diet stuff. But nonetheless, it has more nutrition in it, and it's going to be a good thing because most people are nutrition starved, in my opinion. Only until it catches up to them, and then at some point they're going to flatten off, and then gourmet raw foods are now going to be a detriment to their health because it is high fat and doesn't have as much nutrition as eating fresh fruits and vegetables. What I would suggest for any raw food restaurant owners or people thinking about starting a raw food restaurant is not concentrate on the nuts and seeds, but concentrate what raw foods is truly really about. It's about the fresh fruits and the fresh vegetables. So instead of somebody having moved from a standard conventional diet to a high-fat gourmet raw foods, you could have them up to a higher plateau of mostly fresh fruits and vegetables with some nut and seed cheeses and nut pâtés, but a lot more vegetables. Another benefit to this is that your food costs will go down. Nuts and seeds are incredibly expensive, and fresh produce is a lot less expensive. So you want to fill people up on the fresh produce, which costs a lot less, will offer them greater levels of health. They'll feel even better. They will not plateau as early. That means you'll have a customer for a longer period of time. Plus, you'll be building the health of your clients so that they'll want to come back to you more and more, and you'll have a much higher level of success than serving raw foods that are gourmet foods that have high fat content. In the end, I want to rate greens and vines on the food that I ate tonight 2 out of 5 apples. That's a fairly low rating that I give for a few reasons. Number one, maybe the lettuce and the tomato was quite fresh, but all the other foods was all dehydrated. I want to eat nice and vibrant foods. I mean, I was out in a garden today picking fresh foods, and I would like the foods that I eat to be fresh picked right out of the garden. Most of this stuff was nuts and seeds that didn't have the vitality that I'm looking for. I'm here to share with you guys the knowledge I've learned over the last 19 years leading a healthy raw foods diet. I want you guys to succeed the first time, like when I came here to Hawaii from Los Angeles, the plane flew Los Angeles to Honolulu, like more or less a direct line. I didn't take a side route, like I didn't go from Los Angeles to Anchorage, Alaska, and then to Honolulu, right? And that's what I think the high-fat, raw, gourmet diet can do to you. It's just taking you a place you don't really need to be in. Yes, you still can get to the same goal, but as we've learned when we were kids, the quickest route from point A to point B is a direct line, not like a zigzag line, right? So hopefully after watching this video, you'll take a more direct route, like from A to B as a straight line instead of a zigzag line with a high-fat raw food diet and maybe raw food restaurants, maybe sometimes if you want to party or want to celebrate a special occasion. But overall, I recommend eating a high water content, high fresh fruit and vegetable based diet. Hopefully you guys truly enjoyed this video. I will put a link down below the video in case you're not familiar with what raw foods are. It's a talk that I give on how to determine if a food is raw or not, because there's many raw foods out there. They're being claimed as health foods, and you know, not all raw foods are health foods in my opinion. And a talk I give, just because it's raw doesn't mean it's healthy, explains just this. So hey, check out that link below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this restaurant review. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and remember, until then, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. All right, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. We're coming at you all the way from Oahu, Hawaii today to share with you guys one of my favorite